Hi, everybody. Mike B here, taking a look at graded stakes action at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. Race number 11, the Hurricane Bertie. It's a grade 3 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. They're going to go 7 furlongs on the main track for a $150,000 purse. A field of 9. I think it's a relatively evenly matched field as well. This is a pretty interesting betting race. Just going through the contenders in here, I think a lot of different horses have a legit shot to win this race. And maybe at the end of the day, it will all just come down to who gets the best trip in the race. So along those lines, let's take a look real quick at the Timeform US pace projector to see how this thing rates to set up. Timeform US does not believe that the flow of this race will favor either the front runners or the closers. But they do have number 8, Pause for the Cause, shipping in from New York for trainer Kieran McLaughlin. They have that horse making the lead. I can see that happening. This horse has been in good form recently while using her early speed. I'm sure they want to be forward with her again in this spot. I wouldn't be surprised if the horse that they have second on the Timeform US pace projector, the number 1 Blamed, I wouldn't be surprised if that horse made the lead. She's drawn to the inside. She is fast early. It almost feels like they have to come out of there running. So we'll see what happens. But I don't disagree that those two horses are likely to be up front early in this race. The horse that they have last on the Timeform US pace projector, the 5 Sally's Curlin, it's hard to argue with that. She is a deep closer, making her first start of 2020 in this spot, but she's a pretty good deep closer. So we'll see what we get from her off the layoff. Let's start the discussion talking about the number 1 Blamed, because she's a little bit of an enigma. She's 4 for 12 or 8 for 12 in her career. When she's good, she's actually pretty good. But there have been instances in her career where she hasn't necessarily shown up with her very best race. That was certainly the case 2 starts back in the inside information here at Gulfstream Park. Now, she was off of a long layoff that day. I don't think you want to be too hard on her for it, but she just didn't show up at all, and she finished last behind a couple of these horses. For her next start, Bill Mott gave her a little class relief, put her in an allowance race. She was the favorite that day, going 6.5 furlongs, and we'll look at the stretch run of that race right now. And listen, she just did what she was supposed to do in this spot. She was supposed to beat this field. She had her speed on the day. She got right up on the pace early. Didn't seem like she had to really go that hard, even though she had a rival keeping up to her outside. And she put that horse away, and she won the way that she was supposed to. When I like that performance from her, it was a 90 by her speed figure, which matches her career top. She's already a graded stakes winner over the Gulfstream Park dirt surface. And she's just got speed from the inside. I mean, there's a lot to like about her. I don't know, how short a price I would take on Blamed in this race, but she certainly makes a lot of sense in here. And I'm not, way against her. The horse I would probably try to use somewhere. Let's move on to number 3, Unholy Alliance, for trainer Saffie Joseph. Listen, this horse hasn't really made any mistakes in her career. She was stakes placed a couple of times early in her career when Brad Cox had her. She's made her last 3 starts for Saffie Joseph. Didn't run that well first time out for this barn. They tried the Rampart, the grade 3 Rampart, 2 starts back. She ran okay going a mile, got a little tired late, finished 5th in a race that went to a deep closer. And then last time, just similarly to Blamed, they dropped her a little bit in class into an allowance race last time. And we'll look at her win in this race because she was actually very impressive in here. The Buyer's only an 83. She always traveled in this race, though, cruised up on this field through the turn, and you're just going to see her being ridden out through the stretch in this race. She dominated this field. It was clearly a career best performance for Unholy Alliance. The problem is, and I respect them for stepping her up in class here off of a win like that, but even if she runs as well against this field, it's probably not going to be good enough. This is a much better field. She's going to have to run a lot better than that. So we'll see what kind of price she is. I'm not, I'm not going to try and talk anybody off of Unholy Alliance, but kind of want to see her, do that again. Number 4 is WW Fitzy. She's going to be a long price in this race. We can take a look at her most recent win. This is her first start of 2020. First start as a 4-year-old. And she made the early lead, took a little pressure up there, wound up in a duel through the stretch, and she's going to prevail, which seems to be what WW Fitzy does in her races. She's 6 for 11 lifetime. She is 5 for 8 in her career in dirt races, however, and she's won 4 of her last 5. Listen, she's in really good form here. She's another horse who is going to have to improve to beat a field like this one. But she's going to be a very good price in this race. So if you like her, I guess you're probably supposed to take a shot with her and bet her in this race. Number 5 is Sally's Curlin. I think she's a major contender in this race. It's so far in her career, it seems like she really doesn't want to go too far. It doesn't seem like 2 turns suits her very well. 1 turn races suit her very well. She's won 4 consecutive races at 1 mile. They're basically all 1 turn races. One of those came at Ellis Park, which is more like 1.5 turns. But the other 3 1 turn miles at Churchill Downs, just really impressive, winning all of them, including the Grade 3 Chaluki last November 2nd. She doesn't have a lot of speed. They take her back to last early, but she really finishes in her races. I think this distance is probably pretty good for 7 furlongs. Maybe it's even a bit short, but and she might want a little bit longer, but 7 furlongs might be okay for her. I think she has a lot of talent. Does she need one off the layoff? I don't know. Will she get enough pace to close into? I don't know. Is Gulfstream really the right track for her? You know, trying to close ground. Sometimes it can be difficult here. I don't know about that either. But I like her as a horse. She's 6-1 on the morning line. If she stays around that price, I'm going to use her. Number 6 is Nona Madeline for Pletcher. You know, we'll see what we get from her. I liked her a bit as a 2-year-old. They tried some tough spots with her. It didn't really work out. She wasn't embarrassed, but it felt like maybe she was a couple below the really good 2-year-olds of 2018. She missed a lot of time, came back off of a very long layoff in December over this track, going this distance in an entry-level allowance race, and I really liked her return to the races. She earned an 84 buyer, and yes, she got to the lead that day. All in all, the trip was a really good one, but I just like the way that she finished that race. I really came with a good run through the stretch. It felt like there was more to come for her out of that race. They tried the inside information last time. I mean, I guess she ran about as well. The competition was just a little bit too tough for her. I thought all in all, she got the right trip in that race. The short comments suggest that she had some trouble. I didn't really think she had trouble. I thought Johnny V gave her a good ride, had her in position, got her clear to the inside in the stretch, and she wasn't good enough. She's going to have to do better than that. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, however. So we'll see what she does, and we'll see what kind of price she goes off at. The 7 is Wildwood's Beauty, just a major contender in this race. She's made 11 dirt starts in her career. She's been in the exacta in all 11 of them. 7 furlongs is a good distance for her. She's got a couple of figures that make her really tough in this race. She has really good tactical speed, and she's exiting the inside information last time as well. We're going to show the stretch run of the inside information right now. You're going to see her really really battling in the stretch here, and finally going to fight her way to a short lead very late in the game. As she's getting by to the lead, Pink Sands, a deep closer, is already coming with the momentum, and you know that Wildwood Beauties is never going to hold her off. I thought all in all she ran a good second, though, because before we picked up that replay, this filly, she had real trouble on the turn of this race. Julian Leparoux was saving ground in behind horses, and he took a pretty bad shuffle through that turn. He lost a lot of position. He had to take her to the outside just to get her clear, and then she had to make that run again to get back into contention before she got out finished late. She ran really well last time, and you know, I don't want to say that she was, you know, a likely going to win, but she was unlucky in that race. Number 8 is Pause for the Cause. We talked about her showing speed in this race. I think that's probably going to be the case. I don't want to be too hard on her. She's a good New York bred. She's won 7 times already in her career. I would say that I've never been a big fan. She got on a 3-race winning streak late last year. All of those in races where she was using her speed and using it very effectively. But one of them came while she was riding a gold rail. The other 2, she just got absolutely loose and didn't take any pressure against what I would think are inferior horses to the horses she's running against today. The figures say she's a contender. She has good speed. I'm just not that big a fan of hers. I'd like to see Kieran McLaughlin pick up another graded stakes win here before his training career comes to an end shortly. I'm just not a fan of this horse. I'll give her the sloppy track excuse for the La Verdad last time. But I don't know. I'm just not a fan, and she's not my kind of horse. I'm going to be against her in here. The 9 is Lady Kate. She's improving. I'll give her that. I think she's going to have to improve again to beat this field. I like that she's coming in this race off of 2 consecutive wins over the Gulfstream Park main track. They were both 1-turn miles, and they've earned her the 2 best buyer speed figures of her career at 87 and 88. We have a replay of the second of those recent wins here back on February 12th. It's not the most impressive win in the world. She kept right up close, tracking the leaders in this race. Challenged for it through the turn. She took over in the stretch here, and she's driving to the finish. She's on her wrong lead while in front, as you can tell there. But she's keeping on. Nobody's really closing hard at her, and she was best on the day. I like the fact that she's improving. Her trainer, Eddie Kinley, does a really good job. And, cutting back to 7's not supposed to work against her, really. We'll see what happens. I didn't like her all that much in this race, but I could see her being a factor at the end of the day. I didn't pick her on top, though. My top pick in this race is going to be the 7, Wildwood's Beauty, as we'll put the picks up there now. I just like her form overall. She's fast enough to win. It's a good distance for her. And I really did think she had an excuse in the inside information last time. So I'm going to put her on top. And I'm going to go 7, 5, 1, and 6 in this race. The 5 is Sally's Curlin off the layoff. Maybe her lack of speed works against her, but I like her as a horse. I think she'll be running at the end of this race. 7, 5, 1, and 6 for me. In the Hurricane Bertie, race number 11, Gulfstream Park on Saturday. Approximate post time is 5:52 Eastern time. Good luck.